in which the Messenger of Allah ﷺ said, fear Allah and be patient. And what's meant by that, or the ruling of Allah and His Messenger coming before and above one's emotions. Clear. We said, and what's meant by that hadith, or by that, is that a person is not allowed to break the rules of Islam because of his or her emotions. Whatever a person is going through, how painful, what could be more painful than losing a young child? But it doesn't mean I can now do or say haram or act in a manner which is displeasing to Allah. Where the Quran and Sunnah, the obligation of being patient, etc., is clear. So many people, the point that I'm trying to warn from is many people, many women, to be just, and many men. Unfortunately, they think and they feel that it's okay because of the emotional nature. I'll mention a perfect example of this. Slavery. A long, painful history of slavery. A person thinks and feels is that just because of the transatlantic slave trade and this happened and that happened, I can now go outside of the boundaries of Islam because of the painful history of slavery, our ancestors. And then the person, he goes, and the next thing you know, waliyadu billah, he's invoking and calling upon other than Allah. And if you say, akhi, that's haram, that's shirk, you cannot call upon other than Allah. Say, akhi, brother, you don't understand what happened to our people, our culture. You don't understand what the white people, what the Arab people, what they did to the black African, etc., 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 etc. And much of that, if not all of that, may be true. But the emotional hurt and pain cannot, it does not allow you to violate the deen. And the rulings of Quran and Sunnah with regards to dua are crystal clear. You cannot call upon the dead, bottom line. You cannot invoke the dead and ask them for things and beg of help and support, etc. So that's just one example of how people, they'll accept the truth except when it comes to something really, really painful. You tell a sister, it's unlawful for you to dress like this. She says, I'm going through something. The brother, he did this to me, he violated to me, he divorced me, I'm going through something. So therefore, my hijab, okay, I understand what you're going through. But Allah and His Messenger told you to cover yourself. You cannot dress like that, no matter what you're going through. A person who says that they're going through something, no problem, without validating and justifying the act. Yeah, I know you're right, man. I'm a little messed up right now. Make dua for me. Inshallah, I'm going to get better. I'm smoking right now. I'm drinking right now. You know what I'm saying? Got a girlfriend right now. I know it's haram, but I'm a little messed up. Versus, you can't say anything about me. You can't judge me. It's okay what I'm doing because I went through this nasty divorce. And many, many people, they fall into that mistake. And the shaitan is very sly with regards to that move and that technique. That's what's meant by that. And the Prophet ﷺ, not only did he teach her what was right, the beauty of the hadith, he didn't even discuss it. It didn't even come up. How old was your son? He didn't even ask none of that. He said what? Ittaqillah wasbiri. Fear Allah, be patient. That's it. The emotional stuff, you have to figure that out. But the deen always remains superior. Wallahu a'lam. And no doubt the world will be a much better place if we understood this principle and if we acted upon it. And even if you can't act upon it, don't do the opposite, right? Justifying it. You smoke, you drink, you have your girlfriend, don't say it's okay. Don't say it's all right because Allah knows what I'm going through. La. Put your head down in shame, make dua for me, and that's it. Wallahu alam. Is anybody, any other questions before we stop? Khair, inshallah. We'll take a few from online. Questions coming from Jamaica, Queens, initials SC. Was Imam Malik or Shafi'i atba' tabi'een? Imam Malik, no doubt, was from the atba' tabi'een. From his teachers was Zuhri. And Zuhri met one of the companions of the Messenger of Allah, at least one. As far as Imam Shafi'i was not from the tabi'een. He did not meet any Sahaba, nor was he of that higher lineage of Imam Malik. Imam Shafi'i died in the beginning of the 3rd century. Imam Malik died in the actual 2nd century. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Question is coming from M.A., Oakland, California. Assalamu alaikum. Is selling hashish haram? Selling anything which is an intoxicant is unlawful. Anything which is harmful, poisonous, venomous, detrimental to the human being's mind or heart or soul or body, is unlawful to trade and to profit from. Wallahu alam. AM from Phoenix, Arizona. Meaning of istihsan. Can it be used to justly justify something explicitly haram? Drug legalization treatment leads to decrease in drug use. Can one vote for legalization based on istihsan? Jazakallahu khairan. Question is yes and no, or no and yes. First and foremost is al-istihsan isn't something which is agreed upon by all of the people of knowledge. Some ulama allow it, some ulama validate it. But al-istihsan for sure is from the secondary principles of proof and evidence in Islam. It is not of the same value and weight of course, Quran, Hadith, Ijma', Qiyas is way down the line. All right? And obviously, the more you copy something, the more photocopies you make, the less sharper the image becomes. So istihsan itself is not agreed upon by all the ulama, let alone using it for something as such. As far as if and when it is valid, using it, wa alaykum salam to Allah, so on and so forth, then it depends on the situation. Every situation is different. Allowing the people to smoke and drink with rules instead of the illegal or recklessly using those things, I wouldn't necessarily say that, nor would I agree with that. And there'll always be the illegal underworld. There'll always be the illegal underworld. That's a fact. No matter how much you legalize marijuana, there's always going to be an illegitimate, illegal element to it as well. No matter how much you try to regulate the consumption of alcohol, protect it from minors, etc., it's always going to be there. So what are you actually solving? What are you actually getting rid of? But there may be a time or a place in which certain things are allowed for lesser of the two evils. But it doesn't mean that you can legalize the haram through istihsan. La, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Wallahu ta'ala alam. Question is coming from, and this was AK from St. Louis, Missouri. Assalamu alaikum, Mufti. How can one overcome feelings of severe